Once again, back, it's the incredible Dale Valor's Inner Game Podcast. I'm rapper turned dating coach Dale Valor, your inner game wingman. Listen, here's the deal. If you're new to this podcast, what we're talking about is inner game. What is inner game? Inner game is the relationship that you have with you. If all the other relationships in your life are suffering, in large part, and usually it's due to the relationship that you have with you sucks, right? So if you don't like yourself, how can you expect anybody else to, either? So here's the deal, man. We're going to go deep on so many inner game concepts in this podcast. I really am glad that you're here. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you're a long timer, welcome back. And let's hop in. You know what I mean? So, but fulfillment, is from your purpose, what you're put on planet Earth to do. And when you find that, it just gives you your life so much more meaning and impact, And so I love everything that you just said, that's right up my alley.
Thank you. We're like brothers, helping other people prosper, because if you love what you do and do that more, there will be many more opportunities. But if you do the things you don't like, you're stuck, and then you have less energy. So it's very obvious. When your heart opens, go for it. If your heart closes, you have to do something else, and it's very easy. It's in our heart. It's embedded in our system. So use it wisely.
Yeah, I tell guys that I work with, my students, all the time. It's like I often get the question of, I don't know what my purpose is, and I don't know how to get it figured out. And what I tell them is, okay, you ready? Because I'm about to assign you your purpose. Okay. So hope you're ready, and what I'll tell them is your purpose in the here and now is to find your purpose. So get out there and try new things, experiment with stuff. A lot of those peripheral interests, as I like to call them, hey, one of these days I'd like to learn how to make Italian food, or one of these days I'd like to learn how to play the guitar, and there's a reason why those things speak to you, is to even suggest that one day you'll get around to it, so make that day now. Start working towards those things now. And guess what? If that's not your purpose, playing the guitar, okay, cool. Move on to something else, but at a bare minimum, you now know how to play guitar. You know what I mean? So there's no losing here, and look, somebody's purpose, and I'd like to get your take on this. Somebody's purpose, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily related. A lot of times it is, but it doesn't have to be. However, that makes maybe that job that you're not crazy about, but pays the bills and things like that, and you got a little bit extra, but it's just a job to you. It's nothing exciting or anything like that. Certainly not your purpose, but that job now becomes the thing that funds your actual purpose, So I'd like to get your take on that. Like, would you suggest that, making money to fund your lifestyle, is that alone? Is that purpose? Or is it, your purpose could be anything as long as you can fund that thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So when you hear a word purpose, some of you may feel like it's such a big thing, So I call it like a fun thing, So I want you to do a more fun thing in your life. So a friend of mine who's a lawyer, who loves coaching kids, and then he started coaching when his boy was small, and then his boy is like 25 or something, but he still loves coaching kids. But he's a lawyer, So he was stuck in between. I like to be doing more about baseball stuff, but which doesn't pay any bills.
Right.
So he decided to do work for as a lawyer for 3 days, and then the other 4 days he does a baseball coach, and then he's happy, much happier with his lawyer job. He doesn't hate it, so you can have fun that way, and then eventually you can find something that pays a bill too. Like I'm a writer, a lot of artists are starving. So if you want to be a writer and you feel like you can make a living, it's true. Like 99% of us are not making money.
Mhm.
So you can start writing on the side, but that will bring you joy. So you can spend every 10 minutes every day writing. That will bring you joy. You can write 20 minutes more. You can write half an hour. You can just squeeze in your writing time every day.
Mhm.
So a lot of people say, I don't have the time, the time to write. And my answer would be, I think you don't love doing it. If you love watching TV, you do it. You're hooked. If you're hooked with the shows like this, you just cannot stop you from watching it, like YouTube and Netflix, right?
Yep.
Amazon. So do something that it's almost impossible to not to do. Like I cannot stop writing. I have to hold my hands. I have to maybe tie my hands. So I cannot type, but I'll probably type it this way. So it's almost like an happy addiction. I gotta do this. I gotta speak more in front of the camera. I gotta cook. I gotta coach. I gotta listen to people's problems and solve it. Or you just listen in, you tune in like a counselor. So find something that brings you more joy. If you hear a word life purpose, it may be so big, but just replace the word life purpose with having fun. So just please start having fun. You figure out about the money later, but you have more energy every day if you keep doing what you love. And then just figure out the practical part.
Yeah. No doubt. I agree 100%. Would you suggest that, like clearly you have a pretty generous spirit about yourself. You know what I mean? I haven't gotten my check, but we'll talk about that later. But no, but would you advise people as their financial situation, they're focused now and things are starting to roll a little bit, but they're not anywhere near what they're trying to do. Okay. Yeah. To be generous, even though they don't have, they're not at their end game. They're not at their goal financially, but they gotta, they're starting to do okay a little bit, would you suggest that person to kind of get in the spirit of generosity to start on a small scale? Or would you say, no, just kind of do what you can do, and then when you get to your end game goal, then really make things happen?
Yeah, thank you, Dale. You're just pointing out something very important. Some people think life is like, achieving the goal, but I think our real life is in the process of achieving the goal. Mm-hmm. So all the fun is in the process. So don't get stuck with the idea after you achieve your goal, you can be happy. Enjoy every step of the way. If you're running a marathon, don't think just finishing, going to the finishing line is the purpose. Like running, every step is a purpose. Mm-hmm. So find fun and find your friends that to run with. Breaking the world record is not your job. It's almost like hiking. I used to do a marathon with my friends, and we just walk and talk half the time. So we don't care how much time. It's like five guys kind of like jogging slowly, and then your knee hurt. Okay, just lean on me. So there's a nice, beautiful proverb in Africa. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, you go with friends.
I just heard that like yesterday.
Really?
I swear to God, I never heard that expression before in my life until yesterday, and then you just said it again.
Yeah, and I really love that because I'm going around the world so many times, and sometimes I go alone, sometimes I go with my friends, and different way of enjoying life, but definitely going with your friends enrich the experience. So I advise you just find a friend who would enjoy life with you. It could be your partner, it could be your friends, and could be some business partners, but finding
good friends is
fun.
like important. Yeah.
Yes, that's why, Shaban, you can stay up late or get up early, right? So thank you
Exactly.
for being a great friend with us.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, like, I mean, even what you said, right? It's like the journey, not the destination. Like, I like to think of it like, like life is a video game. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Because in the video game, it's not the end that, you find fun. It's like, from the beginning to the end, it's the experience of, going from level 1 to, level 10 and completing the game. Like, it's like, God is giving you one game, okay, which is called life. And it's like, you do what you want. He's literally giving us a game to do, entire thing. And after, let's say, whatever, like 70, 80 years, he's going to be like, okay, it's time to return the game. So, yeah, like, I mean, that's how I think of it. Like, like that's your lifespan, right? So now God's question is, what did you do in this life, like the 70, 80 years, whatever, you played the game as. And that is where, like if you have regrets because you didn't do what you wanted to do, it's kind of sad. I mean, like, I mean, I'm not sure how many games you guys have played, but like, it's like, someone is playing GTA. If you've played the game, it's basically like a free open world game where you can do whatever you want. Okay. Imagine there's so many things to do in the game, but you decided to do the most, like, let's say, like, there are taxi missions in that game, which are considered the most boring. And you can imagine what taxi mission is. Someone will ask you to take you from point A to point B, and you keep repeating that. Now, the problem is, yeah, you'll make some money, but like, it's boring, And that's what, like, like you guys are saying, it's exactly true. Like, you have one life. Why not do something that you actually enjoy and, that makes you happy? Obviously, it should give value, but at the same time, you should also enjoy it because, you get one life. Why do you want to do something you don't like? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. You know, again, absolutely love your generous spirit about yourself, man. And then the reason I was asking that question is because, like, myself, for instance, like, now I'm not broke, but I'm not super rich either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing all right, I guess. And so, one thing that I like to do, and I've been trying my damnedest, man, to make this like a thing, and it's just, it started to catch on with some of my students a little bit, but not to the degree that I would like. All right, so I'll give you a little background here. So my birthday, okay, is the worst possible time to have a birthday on the calendar, basically. It's the day after Christmas, okay? And so, like, now think of this, okay? Now, second to that, I live in Detroit, man. It's cold, in the winter, like, the weather's bad. Nobody wants to go do anything. So when it's my birthday, like, I'll literally get 3 or 4 texts from people saying happy birthday. I'll get a lot of social media happy birthdays, but I don't care about that, because my birthday is so on the back burner, that, like, nobody thinks about it, which I totally get, like, I can't have a birthday party. People have family in from out of town, or they themselves have left to go out of town. And then to top it all off, New Year's Eve is like 5 days away. You know what I mean? So ain't nobody trying to do a party between Christmas and New Year's Eve, you know? So like,
that's funny.
It's the worst time to have a birthday. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what I do on my birthday, you know, I think that a lot of people, they use their birthday as a marker to feel how, I guess, important they are in other people's eyes and things like that. And I already know, like, I'll get a happy birthday for my parents, you know, and maybe a couple other people, and that's about it. Okay. So the way that I feel is like this. Okay. I don't have that marker really to see how impactful I'm being in people's lives on one specific day. Okay. So on that day, what I do is to remind myself why I'm here, to give value and things like that, is like, you know, me and my wife, we'll go out, you know, be her and I, and we'll go get dinner somewhere, you know, go to a restaurant or whatever. I'll just pick a table, that one, and I'll pay for that table's food, you know, and I tell the server, please don't tell them that I paid for this, you know, just take care of it, you know, and that makes me feel like, okay, that's a reminder to me as to why I'm here, is to give value, you know. Mm-hmm. So like, even though like clearly you and I are in different tax brackets, but you know, I can where I'm at, I can still be impactful financially in other people's lives. I mean, to a smaller degree, of course, but impactful nonetheless. And if nothing else, at least I'm reminding myself as to why I'm here, you know, is to be a force of impact in people's lives and things like that, you know? So, now you had mentioned having long hair and things like that, you know, I'm big on individuality and like people expressing themselves the way that they feel like that they want to express themselves. Now, you coming up in Japanese business culture and things like that, like, I don't know how long you've had long hair. It looks like you've been growing it a while.
Decades, 3 decades.
Oh, they said 3 days. I'm like, what?
3 decades.
I want that hair growth.
Okay, so how are you accepted in like, you know, like everything? And excuse my ignorance, you know, but like, just things that I've read and documentaries I've watched and things like that, it seems to be pretty uniform. Like, this is the, you know, no beards. This is the way you present yourself, you know, and that's how it is, you know. Like, how did you break through the fray and still become really successful, but being kind of a rebel about it?
Right. I wish I had a beautiful beard like you, but my beard doesn't grow. So I can. It doesn't, you know, I don't look a good rebel if I don't have the perfect beard. So
you look like a samurai, man.
the beard part, I just let go. But being a rebel, I had this funny feeling I didn't fit. I didn't fit in. I didn't fit into any of the culture. So it was hard when I was younger. But I just I was capable of protecting myself, protecting who I was. And then I just I want to hold myself in my teens and early on. My life was tough, but I started my business when I was 20, which is like unheard of. You know, people I went to the best university in Tokyo, so people just thought, "Are you crazy? If you graduate from Harvard, you either work in big companies and, you know, big and government job. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, in America, probably you have somebody like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs who drop out of college and start business. In Japan, there weren't not many. So I was a rebel. So it's always fun for me to just getting upsetting people. So, and like when I walk a street like Wall Street, you know, I'm the only guy in my 50s who's wearing, you know, like this, and then no suit. So like I really stand out. But it's fun for me because I cannot hide who I am, and I am who I am. And then by just showing my lifestyle, a lot of young Japanese fathers had time off, sometimes 6 months off, sometimes a year off. I personally, thousands of fathers, young fathers, thanked me personally for the experiences they thought they never had with their kids. Yeah, they have been inspired with my life, and then the impact I'm giving. I try not to compare with other people, like say Gandhi or Dalai Lama, or somebody who's more influential. So comparing with others will just bring you more pain. So I'm just telling my friends and my students, if you want to be happy, stay away from social media, because that
It
is
is true. It is true. It is true.
Man, I cannot agree with you more on that. Like it's I tell people all the time, man, if it wasn't for what I do for a living, coaching and things like that, social media is kind of a necessary evil. That's kind of the way that I kind of look at it. If it wasn't for that, this right here would go right out the window. You know what I mean? Like, like I loathe social media, but people who follow my content, I guess cat's out of the bag because this is part of that content. But people who follow my content, like you would think, like, man, this dude must love social media. He's on all the time, and it just because that's the only way that at least in the here and now, to really connect with people, like outside of your sphere of influence, if you will.
I mean, I think social media is like, it's like money in a sense.
Oh, sure.
Like it has like good and evil at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, social media is why we are here. Like me, Dale, like we wouldn't have met without social media.
Right.
Like even with Ken, like we would just never have that opportunity,
Yep.
But at the same time, like social media is like, it's like at the same time, it can do a lot of bad things, especially for children. And that is why, what Ken said is such a big thing, that actually parents spending time with their children. I think that is missing a lot in especially US culture. Now, to be fair, Indian culture and even Japanese culture, parents still spend a lot of time with their children. Like, that culture is there. But especially in the West, and even now it's like, it's even in other countries like Japan and India, it's like it's happening there also. What happens is both mother and father both are having a job. So they will basically leave the kids, and they will be busy working. Okay. The problem, what happens is kids learn everything from a social media, like TV, and, like watching other people. And they might not necessarily show them the best things, that's one. Secondly, like, having someone you trust and, genuinely love, it's a big thing. Like it's, I like having someone who you actually can trust, like a father or a mother, like someone or an elder brother, like that is so important because that's human connection, and most of the current generation is missing that.
Yeah.
And then you get cases where, like basically the child abandons the parents and, like they don't want to be a part of, like they don't want to have them in their life.
Sure.
That is because, especially when they were young, same thing happened to them in a sense. Because to a small child, let's say he's sick. Okay, I'll just give you a small example. Let's say, I have a fever and both my parents, like I want my parents to stay with me because I'm sick, I'm scared. But they both go to the job, right? To their job. Now, to that small kid, it's like his parents abandoned him, right? Because he's small, he doesn't understand, that difference. Now, what happens is same when he grows up, he doesn't feel that love, for his parents.
They probably have abandonment issues and things like that.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's how it starts. It's not a big thing.
Right.
It starts like this, like, because at that point, like, for a small child, being sick is the end of the world, like it's a scary thing. And he wants his parents to be with him. But because of, like money and, all the issues, you don't have that. And then you have the issue of, like the familial love that can, especially like you are actually showing through your content and what you have shown, that is like amazing. Like I can't like I can't stress how important it is, especially for guys in current generation who don't have father figures,
Yeah.
because they don't have someone to like, okay, this is how you're supposed to make money, or this, like they don't have any advice. They're just like, okay, go out, make money, that's all. Like, they don't have anybody to be like, it's okay to make a mistake, but we'll cover for you, something like that. So
Yeah. Speaking of societal issues, I'd love to get your take on this, Ken. So and I do not remember what the term is. I've watched probably a half a dozen documentaries on like I mean it happens worldwide, but it seems like in Japan it seems to be way more common, where it's like adult men who are having a rough go, like maybe career wise or whatever, and they just kind of check out. You're just like, no, I'm done. I'm done with society, and just like camp out in their bedroom for 20 years or something, And do you know what I'm talking about, Ken?
I think it's called NEAT, right? NEAT or something? No.
Right.
I think it's NEAT. NEAT. I may be wrong though, but I'm just saying, I think it's the word.
Yes, yeah. In China, there now the problem is they're called like sleeping on the couch tribe is what they say.
Okay.
And it's almost like a natural way of protecting yourself. And then by just cutting the relationship out with what's going on in society, you can just find a little peace in you. So, but it's because you can afford it. If it's in other countries, like in Africa or other countries who are less financially fortunate, you cannot afford to do that. You have to go out and make a living.
Like you're literally checking out because you're about to starve.
So it's almost like a luxury to be able to sit on a couch for years.
Right.
And that's because their parents have enough money. So, either you just kick them out and then they'll find ways to find something to feed themselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's because of overprotective parents. That's what's causing the problems.
So, you see that kind of thing happen. Like, I know it's not just Japan centric. You know what I mean? Like, you have a lot of people, like in the United States, and anywhere really, I guess. Well, except for maybe like the super poor countries, like you're talking about,
right.
But where it like they take a look at like, okay, I have to make this amount of money in order to be considered successful. I have to have this type of career if I want people to look at me as being a success. I have to drive this kind of car, right? And it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about like, the kind of don't have the keeping up with the Joneses type of mentality. If your phone works, don't go buy the new iPhone. Like, you can still call and text and get online with the phone you got, So now the thing is with those type of guys who feel like that they were kind of sold a false bill of goods, I was kind of promised this societal, socially, and I'm not seeing that. So I'm out. What would you tell somebody that you run into, like I'm out, like what would you advise them to do to kind of like reel them back in, to start finding some of those fun things in their life and to start enjoying their existence rather than being in their parents' spare bedroom playing video games from morning to night?
So I'm not here to change people.
Mm-hmm.
It's their choice, and I respect that. If that's what they want to do, I have nothing to say. But what I'm doing is just showing one way of life that can be fun. And when they feel like excited, oh, Ken is having a fun life, I'm curious if I do the same thing with what he's doing. So it's like in a restaurant, have you ever had this experience? Somebody's having a fun, delicious looking dish. And you say, I'll have one of those. I don't know what it is, especially
Yeah.
especially in India and other places where I don't understand the menu. I say, can I have one of those? And then life is like that. If you bump into somebody that looks delicious, their life looks delicious, I would say, can I have that kind of life? I want one of those. So if you feel like somebody, like I started studying English very hard when I reached 50, and then I started learning Chinese. So I just show my video with my bad English, bad Chinese, but I'm trying to communicate. Mm-hmm. And I'm making friends and making presentations with all the sweat. So young people just look at me like, oh, that guy is just that old guy is just working so hard to try to say something in a foreign language. Why is that? Because he seems to be having fun. Yeah. Maybe, I'm getting bored in this couch. I want to do something. So if that inspired that way, it's great. And if not, they can keep their life as long as they want. So one day you feel like, I'm bored, I'm out of here. When that happens, that's the time. So it's almost like they're sentenced, and they have a life sentence with boredom. Yeah. So playing video games will not give you the real satisfaction, because the real satisfaction happens when you have strong connection with people. Either you work as a server, you have a deep sense of connection that I'm worthy of doing something to help other people, and then you feel fulfilled. So even if you have, if your parents leave enough money for the rest of your life, when you get bored, you want to do something. So when you want to do something, people change. So I'm not here to change. I'm here to inspire. If you feel inspired, you will do something else. When you get curious about your life, you will do something different from what you do. So all my life has been this way. I've been inspired to see people start just doing something in a foreign country. That's what I'm doing. This whole experience is so much fun for me. Brings so much joy, Dale and Shaban, like meeting new friends, meeting new people. So if you just feel attracted to something in your life, just go try that a little bit. And then if you feel like, oh, this is it, you should go all in and have fun.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Who doesn't like fun? You know what I mean? Like who's like, man, what sounds like just a terrible day? Me having a good time all day. Like nobody says that, right? So yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. All right, so I know we're kind of coming up on the end here. Ken, look, the book. I'll tell you guys, my audience here, man. Pick up Happy Money. Listen. In particularly, if you struggle with your finances, you're struggling with, doing fun things because you're like, man, like I just, I don't have the money to do anything fun that I would want to do and things like that. Well, there he is right there, Ken Honda, get his book, and you're going to get a lot out of it. No doubt about it. So Ken, what's the best way that somebody can reach you?
Thank you for asking. You can find me at kenhonda.com. You can find the translation of this booklet that I gave away to 2.3 million people. It's free. You can download it and read it.
3 million? What you mean, like push them out of an airplane? Like I'm flying over Tokyo.
Yes, the box.
Right. That's how he got rid of the boxes that his wife was yelling at him about.
I never thought of that. Yeah. So
that would have been faster, no?
Yes, I find it so much fun to share what I know about money. So a lot of them is free. So and you can watch my videos on YouTube. So many, millions of views. So and I'm sorry I haven't created much with English content, but I'll do more. I will speak in Hawaii at 4 different islands, starting in a few days.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I was just traveling in North America, United States. My new book will come out in May. So from Hay House, it's called Nine Letters from a Millionaire. So it's a novel. So I'll just probably bump into one day and just say hello to me when you have a chance. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
what's
so
up.
excited to be able to share my knowledge and wisdom that I inherited from my mentors. So hopefully I'll just meet you in person, Dale and Shaban.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you come to India for 100%, man. Again.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
Ken, again, man, thank you so much. This has been an awesome opportunity and experience. And I just love it. And you know what? The funny thing is that I was not expecting to talk so much about generosity and giving value. I was not expecting the conversation to like really take that turn, but I'm so glad that it did, man, because my audience knows, Shabam knows for sure, like, shoot, man, my name, get this. This is gonna blow your mind. Okay. So Valor isn't my actual last name. Okay. So it's just a pseudonym. And so when I came up with the last name Valor, my real name is Dale, but my last name is not Valor for real. It's not on my driver's license. But what I didn't know until much later, in Spanish, Dale Valor means give it value.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
that's the perfect name.
So, hey, Ken, listen, again, thank you so much, man. And if you're down to do it again, let's do it again sometime in the future. Like that would be fantastic. And just thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you so much, Dale, Shaban. So much love for you guys. And I'm sending lots of happy money energy for you.
Well, thank you. I'm down. I'll take all I can get, man. All right.
Definitely.
Well, man, I know that you got a lot of information out of this particular episode. Listen, if you need to go a little bit deeper, always feel free to reach out to me. Look, there's a few ways you can do that. You can shoot me an email. You can send me a DM. I'm easy to find. But the best place that you can find me is at freegiftfromdale.com. It's in the description of the episode. And you're going to get a couple of free gifts there. You'll get the first chapter of my book, Inner Game. And you will also find an exercise to help you find out about yourself and who you really, truly are at the core. Okay. And listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel or the podcast, make sure you do so, man. It takes you 1 second to do it. It means the world to us here. Okay. If you know somebody who could really use this information, feel free to share it, man. Don't hold it to yourself. You know what I mean? So we will see you in the next one.